being a leader within your home, if I could take away a key takeaway here, is just presence. Is your presence means so much to your kids, and your kids will love when dad comes around. I don't know what each and everyone's home is, but I can tell you in my home, if when I come home and I've had a long day and all the girls are home before I am, I know I can walk in the door and one or two things are happening. Either they're standing out behind the laundry room door waiting for me to open the door, and both of them are like, "Daddy, Dada," and they're just super excited, and a smile lights up their face, and it brings so much joy because I'm like, oh, they waited for me. Like, I'm not even that important, you know. Sometimes I don't feel that important, but they were so excited to see me, and that joy on their faces, and I give them a big hug, and I just like, I love you guys so much, like, hey. And I remember just doing the same thing to my dad when he would come home, when we knew he was coming home from long trips, and we kind of sit there and wait, like, Dad, Bob, say you're home, you know. And he's like, hey guys, give us a hug, give us a kiss, and we're like, all right, don't touch me, all right, that's enough, that's the emotional thing. And my oldest does that to me now, where she's like, oh, okay, I was excited to see you. The hug was not part of the deal. And so, you know, just that joy and excitement that I had because he was home, and, you know, like, again, like, you know, get in trouble, not in trouble, whatever. But it just knew, like, I was like, my dad was home, and it felt good. And so, like, that warmth, everything was going to be okay. You know, he came home, it felt like everything was going to be okay. And I hope that's kind of what my kids are experiencing, where it's like, hey, dad's home, everything's going to be okay. It's not to say mom was like, things were going to shit when mom was home. No, it's just to say, like, dad's home. It's a sense of it's like a security blanket where you're just like, I don't know what it is. I just feel comfortable. I feel taken care of. I feel like nothing could go wrong right now. And if it did, dad's here and he's got it. He's going to take care of us. And so that leadership, that form of leadership right there, or presence, because in the Army, we talk about presence all the time, but leadership for me, the biblical ones are the core, the foundation of it. Right. But the presence is one of those biggest, the key ones for me, because if you think about the Bible, think about to the moment where you're in the Bible, where, you know, even in Psalms, where some of the Psalms, David is crying out to the Lord, like, Lord, why have you abandoned me? Why have you forgotten me? Where are you, Lord? Where are you? And then the very next one, he talks about how I thought I was alone, but you were there the entire time. Right. And the Lord's presence was there. We just had to have an open heart to want to connect with him. And it's so amazing to me, because there are times, like, I do feel like I'm like, oh man, I don't feel the Holy Spirit in me. I feel like I'm alone. Like, I just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't have the feeling, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have it. It's gone. Like, so is there, am I like, is he here? Where is he at? You know, he says he's always there. He's always with us. He'll never forsake us. And I start thinking to myself, like, okay, hold on. Start praying for a second. I'm like, hold on. Oh, there he is. And it's a little feeling for me. It's just like, and this might sound cheesy for you guys, but I don't care. Right. But there's this little feeling, that makes me feel that I know that the Lord is there and he's present with me all the time. And that feeling reminds me that I'm not alone. I'm never alone. And that same feeling is a feeling that when my dad walked through the door or talking on the phone, let me know that my dad is here. He's not going to leave me. His presence is what mattered the most. And your presence is mandatory. And again, coming back full circle, as a leader, presence means a whole lot. As a leader, if I walk into a room, and I know this because my soldiers make fun of me. So like, I'm a broad-shouldered dude. I'm pretty broad-shouldered, big-chested, not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty statured dude. And I walk into a room, and immediately there's a demeanor change. And not necessarily like a, oh shoot, like he's here, we got to be on our P's and Q's, you know what I'm saying? But like he's here. I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but like there's a demeanor change. It's kind of like if Sergeant Major walks in and everyone's like, oh shit, Sergeant Major's here. Hey, we weren't doing anything wrong, but like, hey, he's here, right? When your dad walks into the room, you know, if you're hanging out with your friends and your dad walks in, everyone's kind of like, hey, okay, we're not doing anything wrong, but like, just in case something comes out the window, it's like, we're not doing anything wrong. You know, I don't know what it was. It's one of those moments. And I didn't learn that. I didn't learn that tactic, if you will, until I became a dad. I don't have to say anything. You don't say anything. You just kind of walk in. You don't say anything, but you're not like angry. You're just kind of like normal face. Say, hey, everybody's going, you know, and, you know, smiling. It's smiling throws them off completely. But then, you know, hey, how's everyone going? And it immediately kind of puts in there like, okay, he's here, right? And we need that. All right. Form of like respect, whatever. P's and Q's, we need to be on it, right? And that's what presence does. And as leaders, if we have that, if we have presence within our home, we have presence within our profession, man, it changes things. But don't forget now the leadership that comes in here from the biblical leadership in which the Bible talks about. And I'm pointing at my computer because it's right here. You can't see it, but it's right here, I promise. And when it talks about servant, when it talks about spirit-led, and when it talks about mission-minded, and I'll provide the link in the bottom so you can read all of this. I won't go through all of it, but I'm telling you, it's all presence comes into all of these, right? So without presence, I don't think some of these could be really effective. But again, when it comes to biblical leadership, it's not your presence alone that matters. It's God's presence. And when you have God's presence and your presence together, oh man, oh man, it's something different. It's something different. Can't be stopped. And it's a feeling of like, I can do anything. For real, it's a feeling of I can do anything. So as a dad, I literally I get deeper and deeper into the Word every single day, building on my spiritual life and personally and with my family. I can tell you that feeling that I have walking with the Lord and the presence I have with, forget me, but that with Him. I feel like I said, it's the word impossible is a man-made word. We made it up. We did. Not him. We did. Because impossible doesn't refer to him. It refers to the limitations on us. And it's so powerful. Man, I'm sorry. I had a moment. I was having a moment there, but anyway, guys, leadership, you know, you have to find your niche when it comes to being a leader. You know, you can apply. For those of you in the military, you're not in the military, you're in whatever profession you're in, you can try to apply that leadership style which you see your boss do, and it may not work for you, or it may not, or it may actually work for you. But what I found personally, it didn't work for me. Excuse me, it wasn't working for me, and so I had to find my own way in that leadership, in my leadership style in the military, and then at home, especially at home. I thought, if I applied the leadership style that I had at work, that I come home, especially with the wife and the kids, everything would run smoothly. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Got the taste slapped out of my mouth. Not really in reality, but like it was a reality check, if you will. And so I learned that the father that I want to be is the leader that I want, that I can be within at home and at work. I can mesh the two, and they don't have to be different. I don't have to be two different people. I don't feel like I'm a fraud at home or a fraud at work. I'm Quan all the time, and through the lessons that I've learned, the teachings I have I've learned through the Bible, and the teachings that I got from my dad, and the teachings that I've got based off my experiences in the military, all come together to allow me to become the leader that I am within, especially in particular in my home. And I'm not perfect. Again, this is why I have mediocre dads. Mediocre dads, being mediocre is a choice. Refuse to be mediocre. And I have to refuse to be mediocre every day. And so I can wake up and be like, oh, I'm just going to sit on my phone, let them play, tell them to leave me alone, or I can be involved, presence, and really impact their lives and refuse that to be mediocre, refuse the mediocrity that comes with it. Sometimes we just sitting in within our homes, whatever the case may be, right? Refuse to be mediocre. I'm telling you guys, refuse to be mediocre. Okay. That's all I got. Again, I'm Q with Mediocre Dads. Being mediocre is a choice. Refuse to be mediocre. Mediocre Dads out.